Hey, fifth graders. Continuing with our review session, this week we're going to look at Chapter 13, Triangles. We've talked about classifying triangles by the lengths of the sides. We know there are scaling triangles with no equal sides. There are isosceles triangles with two equal sides. And there are equilateral triangles with all three sides being equal. And if we classify by the measures of the angles, we know there are acute angles with all three, acute triangles with all three angles being acute angles, and right triangle with one right angle, and obtuse triangle with one obtuse angle. Obtuse angle is an angle that is greater than a 90-degree angle. With all these triangles, one property that applies to all of them is the sum of the three angle measures in any triangle is 180 degrees. In right triangles, we know there's a 90-degree angle, so the sum of the other two angles is 90 degrees. So that's the property of the angle measures in a triangle. The sum is 180 degrees. And we also know that in an isosceles triangle with two equal sides, it has two equal angles, which is the angles that are opposite to the equal sides. This one and this one in this triangle. And in equilateral triangles, it has three equal angles, each of them measuring 60 degrees. And triangle inequality property says the sum of the lengths of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. So take the triangle, the sum of any two is greater than the third side. Here's a picture for you to see more clearly. And so we know that the third side is less than the sum of the other two sides. Sometimes you're given questions like, the third side is less than a certain number and greater than a certain number. What are the possible lengths of the third side? That kind of question comes from the inequality of triangles, this property. And moving on, we have parallelogram and rhombus. Parallelogram are four-side shape, four-side figure with two equal sides, with the two opposite sides being equal and parallel. So in this figure, AB is parallel to CD, and also they have equal lengths. So are AD and BC. And the angles between the parallel lines, they add up to 180 degrees. And the opposite two angles are the same. So angle D is the same as angle B, angle A is the same as angle C. And angle B and angle C add up to 180 degrees. Same for angle A and angle D. With rhombus, everything is basically the same, except that it has four equal sides. In a trapezoid, however, there's only one pair of parallel lines. So in this example, AB is parallel to DC. So there are only two pairs of angles that add up to 180 degrees. Angle A and angle D are between the two parallel lines, so they add up to 180 degrees. Angle B and angle C, they are between the two parallel lines, so the sum of their measures is 180 degrees. So that is a quick review of chapter 13. The properties of triangles and four-sided figures. And this review video is for the whole week. I kind of went through it quickly. If you can always go back and pause and learn about it. Otherwise, I'm just going to explain the homework. For most of the questions, you can just read the instruction. For some questions, I added some instructions because you can't measure from a picture. Like this one. It says, all the triangles are not drawn to scale, identify, and shade the isosceles triangles. You can calculate the angle measures and find out all the three angle measures in these triangles, and you will know if it's an isosceles triangle if it has two equal angles. But you can't shade on the screen, so you can write the numbers or the label, which is ABCD. Instead of shading, you can write down their labels. Then I know you know which ones are isosceles triangles. And another thing I want to point out is in these figures, find out the unknown angle measure, which is the one that is labeled for you. So I underlined each letter that is an unknown angle that you need to work out. I underlined the letter of these. In 43, there are two angles, and you can write measure of angle D is whatever it is. So these are the two things I want to explain in the homework. If you have any other questions, you can always ask me through email, Class Dojo, or you can call me. This homework is not, I don't remember. This one might be on Tuesday. Might be on Wednesday, and this one might be on Thursday or Friday. But I'm gonna just put everything in the video on Monday, because Monday you have a little bit less homework. If you have any questions, you can go back to the video or you can ask me. I hope you have a good week of reviewing our math. Next week, we are going to move on to some word problems. So this is our last week of reviewing our math chapters.